your first impression when you read the script, or when the project kind of got to you, because it got to you in a weird roundabout way.
Yeah, how did it end up at my door?
So initially, I'd seen your friend Akshay in Polite
Yes.
Society, and I was like, "Oh man, Akshay would be really good for this." And I reached out to him. He was really up for it, and then he couldn't do it, and he said, "Yeah, but I love the script, and I want someone good to do it, and I want you to be able to do it. So here's a bunch of people from my year that I think would be good for this." And you were on it, and I looked at you, and I was like, "You know what? Yeah, fair enough."
He was like, "There's a really good project and I can't do it." He's a big D&D player, and so it was really up his street. He was like, "It's kind of this mythical fantasy stuff," and I was like, "Send it." Send it now. The first thing that I thought when reading it was kind of just how charming it was. It didn't have any grand pretensions. And I think one of the main selling points was that you said this film was inspired by how frustrating the buses are in Bristol. And as someone who lived in Bristol for a long time, I can entirely vouch for that. So anyone who wants to make a film about buses that don't turn up on time, I was in for, even if it was just an infomercial for the council. But yeah, it was just incredibly charming. There was just this person who was sort of doing his best to deal with all of these bizarre ingredients of the world, like a girlfriend and an actual job, but a job that deals with a world that's completely foreign to any normal human. And just how normal he finds all of that, and also just how completely difficult he finds it all. I think too, the fact that it wore the magical aspect quite lightly. It wasn't like, here is an episode of Doctor Who. It was like, here are some regular people living and working in Bristol. It just so happens they're dealing with magical
Mm,
creatures all the time. But they very much have a normal home life. They have orange juice and croissants in the morning and they're always late for work. They don't live on planet Zog. They
mm,
live specifically in Bristol where the buses are late. I mean, it doesn't matter how far into sort of deep sci-fi you go, generally speaking, it's still people with hopes and dreams and thoughts and concerns. And, you know, people are running around being late for work. And I just think this held on to that in a very fun, genuine way.